Hey, what's up, Celtic? How you doing, bro? Ascendancy, you're farming? Getting my last Ascendancy points.
Magnificence.
Nice, Celtic. Follow your heart. Hey, what's up, Lordian? How you doing?
A great challenge overcome. An oasis in the desert. Impressive endurance. The foe ahead is formidable. Steel yourself. Not ready. I knew you would succeed. Greetings. You will succeed.
I seen even Josiah's off-metal builds yet. I'm not really good with names. Like there's been people that we've showcased on the podcast 3 or 4 times, and I still don't remember their names. There's just like a billion build creators. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Can't remember. This is definitely my last character of the main league for now. I'll be farming on this character or taking a break soon until the hardcore private league. This is my last character of the main league. Probably for the foreseeable future. This will be my last, like, experimental, you know, divine sync budget build for a while. So we have the hardcore league coming up, so I'm going to be playing hardcore for a while. I'm not sure how long. It might only be like a week or 2. And then I'm probably predicting a break. Until either I want to play solo self-found, get a random build idea, or the new reset league, but...
Swift magnificence.
You plan on playing the PoE 1 League? Probably not.
Stand tall. An oasis in the desert.
Probably not. How's it going, Crazy? What's up, main resistance?
disrupted.
Hey, what's up, Protag? How you doing, bro? Damn, the skill isn't too bad. Whenever you max the skill effect duration direction, it's not too bad. I think this would potentially be better on a Titan. It's hard to say. There is a lot of, like, niceness I'm getting from the Pathfinder. But, I mean, it's not that bad. I could get it a little bit better than this. But this is probably what I'm at, and at this point it's fine, you know? But you could make it better on a Titan, for sure. But I think this is more than good enough. I could make it better than this, but it's not worth halving for the extra more I could get, and then I can make it better if I used a, Palm of the Dreamer, which I'm not. So, it could get a lot better than this if you were really wanting to make, like, instant pops, but I don't think the instant pops are... I mean, it would be nicer if it was faster, yes, but with what I have it at, this is more than good enough. But, I don't know, I think the Pathfinder... it's probably better on a Titan for the quality of life. I don't know. This could be played on a lot of different ascendancies, though.
Onward, the choice is made. Go, you will always onwards. Up, we will succeed.
Yeah, Tidebreaker's cool. I've leveled a Tidebreaker a few times.
Two ancient guardians await you ahead.
I am not fully min-maxed yet,
Quickly.
so our damage can definitely get a lot better than this. I'm only level 85.
Press the assault.
I think I'm starting to get the hang of this place.
That was an impressive display.
I also think Abyssal Lich could be really good for this, too. Hard for me to go back for no WC limit for me. I mean, for me, it's a little bit more different. I mean, I talk about it all the time. It's just I lack self-control, and if I got like into PoE 1, like the only games I would ever play would be PoE 1 and PoE 2, and I would certainly reach a point of burnout if I was playing only those two games, so it just doesn't make sense for me to play both. With how my brain works and how I play games, I can't play both.
A great challenge overcome. Relish your mortality. challenge overcome.
Basilisk for AoE maxing. I mean, you can also do attack damage maxing with Reavers, so you could you probably use a combination of the two. But yes, it'd be primarily to see what the build looks like with AoE maxing.
Good riddance. Good riddance. An oasis in the depth. Beware the scorpion sting.
Not yet.
This was the end of the journey in my time. But I sense another being resides here. I shall aid you. Onwards. Always.
You ascending or farming? I am ascending. I'm getting my last points. I am getting my last points. You're not tired of repeating yourself? I'm not tired of repeating myself, but just the stream just started, so I'm sure at some point, you know, I'll be tired of repeating myself, but I'll explain the build when I'm done with the run. I'll give a rundown of what I'm doing.
A traitor and a jingak.
What'd you call me?
Can that really be him? I recognize his voice. Zarok.
Whenever we'll get actual brands when Paladin comes out. So, I'm a big PoE 1 newbie. Whenever I play PoE 1, I usually just play, like, the same 2 or 3 builds over and over. I've never played brands before. Well, I have played with brands before, but I wasn't using, like... It was like a, you know... Not a brand build, so... But my hope is we're getting, like... more than just flails and stuff, you know? Brands would be cool. I know a lot of people are assuming with Shadow we're getting,
An oasis
traps.
in the desert.
Yeah, runes are basically brands. Gotcha.
Passing the trial was the beginning, not the end.
That'd be cool. If there were... yeah, I assume, like, a lot of these rune ward skills are, like, teasing future variations of skills, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got more stuff like this with, like, Templar or something.
Stand tall. An oasis.
I mean, same. I think armor is worth it. It just requires mage blood. Once you have a fuckload of armor, though, like, armor is unkillable. Life, though, is still a joke. Unfortunately. Especially with the Leech the nerf. Like, I'm so tilted at the Leech nerf. So many of my old builds are just, like... I don't know, a lot of my old playstyle, especially with life stackers, was Leech. It was like the only way you could play life builds was with Overleech, and now Leech is just kind of like horrible. So that sucks. I mean, it'd be good on a Titan Celtic. I don't know how much better it would be or feel. I'm sure it would feel pretty great on a Titan because you could like skill speed max and stuff. But yeah, I went with Pathfinder because it fits the trap assassin theme better. Plus all the quality of life it gives. I'm so tired of slows, and I didn't want to have to run the Legacy of Aldor for slow immunity.
Impressive endurance.
All right. I mean, ES is just freaking crazy. Still. ES is definitely low effort to get good. I remember in 0.1, it was one of my first, like, commentary videos I did, where I was just, like, I was blown away at the power behind Chaos Inoculation. I was blown away. And I was like, I don't understand how this is okay while the bottom half of the tree, like, has to, like, give 30 freaking arms and legs to get Chaos Res. Like, I was, like, it was one of my first commentary videos where I talked about the balance of the game. And I just did not understand how it was acceptable for ES builds to have Chaos Inoculation and just become, like, this was, of course, in 0.1 when it was even worse, but...
I have seen how this ends, Kajai. Your time has come.
You won't get the better of me, Jin.
There can be no escape.
Not ready.
Your fate
Oops.
binds you.
I'm out of ward. I gotta solve ward recovery on this build still. Alright, we got our last ascendancy points. Okay. Now I got reduced movement speed penalty when using the skill. So I basically don't stop when I cast now. Oh, that's so nice. Look at that. That is so nice. I love it. Okay. Got 1 gold key. See a bunch of Arcanists. I don't see anything. Oh, here's a time loss. Alright. So, I'll go ahead and break down the build. The core of the build is called Conductive Runes. It's a new ward skill. And the way it works is you put a bunch of runes down on the ground. It costs ward to use the skill. And you put a bunch of runes down on the ground. And they just kind of spread out. And when you don't have this support gem in them, delayed reaction, they're basically like traps that you have to step on. And when something steps on them, they explode and do damage. And this is okay initially when you're leveling. I was using this baseline where it was just like kind of just fling it at things and it just, you hope it hits them, and it pops. But as you can see, there's like a little RNG to this spread. It's almost like a plant or a fissure build where like there's this weird spread and you just kind of hope sometimes stuff hits. And on bossing, that's a real problem. On bossing, like you'll send it out and depending on the boss's hitbox or whatever, like 1 or 2 runes will hit them and it was just bad DPS. What delayed reaction does though is it makes the runes detonate no matter what. So as you can see here, after a period of time, they explode. And as long as they're close enough to the boss, which sometimes they're not, the boss is over here, those runes hitting there sucks. If the boss is right here, you're going to get a good spread right there, right? But by adding delayed reaction, the runes always detonate, and it makes it more consistent to deal damage to bosses. Now the problem is, baseline, this would be exploding a lot slower. This takes 12 seconds to detonate baseline. I have a bunch of passive trees with reduced skill effect duration right now in my passive tree. That's making it go off faster. But by adding things like Overabundance 1 with 50% less skill effect duration and Compressed duration 2 with 35% less skill effect duration, you can get it to explode almost instantly. You see that difference? Before it was like a 6-second wait, 7-second wait, and now it's like almost instantaneous detonations. So that's the combination, is we're using conductive runes, we're making it to where all of the runes explode, and then we're scaling down our skill effect duration. And that's why I mentioned that Titan might be the best like mathematical DPS way to play this because of the small passives. All these reduced duration small passives. It ends up being like what is this? So this is between the two of them plus 8 or whatever. So it's like you get a little bit more. It'll make it detonate how much faster. I don't know how much faster. I don't know if it's going to make that big of a difference. If you're unhappy with this detonation speed, then you might want to play Titan. But to me, this is more than good enough. But this is worth where I'm at in skill effect duration. I could potentially... Oh, I forgot to put that jewel in there. I need to get that jewel. I could potentially path over here and get 8% more, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I got to go through a bunch of nonsense to get to it. It seems like a waste of passive. So right now, I'm pathing to get more crit stuff. My damage is not min-max. I'm missing Garukin's Resolve. I think when I have Garukin's Resolve, my damage is going to be significantly better. And of course, I'm missing, like, I'm only 85, you know. And a lot of my gear is fairly budget. Obviously, I have a Mage Blood, right? But, like, this amulet costs 4 divines. Costs 4 divines, right? You know. It's like, obviously I have the Mage Blood and stuff, but, every piece of gear, it's not, like, budget, but it's not expensive. Of my builds I've done recently, it's definitely one of the cheaper ones, at least. But yeah, if you're unhappy with this detonate... But that's the core of the build. It's supposed to be the theme of the Trap Assassin from Diablo 2. It was my first real ARPG build back in high school, where I was like grinding ARPGs for the first time hard. That's where the Pathfinder comes in terms of like thematic, right? Like the Pathfinder kind of looks like the assassin, right? So that's really where it comes down to in terms of theme. But the Ascendancy does have a lot of quality of life. Path of the Warrior lets you start in the warrior section, and then you get the extra 6 passive points. Now I know there are split personalities now, but you have to give up a jewel slot for that. So, you know, it's not ideal. But yes, you could do this exact setup on a Titan. You would just have to give up one of these jewels for a ranger or whatever split personality. But this gets you to 6 extra passives plus the ranger split personality. I am min-maxing the fuck out of Traveler's Wisdom. You can turn attribute passives into increased damage, armor, evasion, energy shield, or cost efficiency, and I have changed a fuckload of them into increased damage. I have very few passives on the tree that are attribute passives. When I'm going to get a new amulet soon that has int on it, probably, because I don't need the plus 10 all elemental resistance, because if I take this amulet off, I'm still res cap. So I'm going to try and get one with int, And then I'll be able to get rid of more of these int travel nodes for increased damage. But I am getting a lot of mileage out of Traveler's Wisdom. Like, I have a handful of nodes that are int, and every other one of them is increased damage, 5%. I don't know how many. When I do the build guide, I'll have an actual count of how much this is increasing my damage. I'm not sure. One of the main reasons I went Pathfinder is for Relentless Pursuit. I'm sure you guys have felt it, but this patch, I don't know what GGD did to slows, but they made slows way worse. And that's why you see a lot of endgame builds using the Legacy rune that makes you immune to slows. It's just miserable playing with slows. And I could do that, but I didn't know if there was going to be an Outers Legacy that I needed to use for the build, such as Legacy of Mjolnir. So I was really happy to get Relentless Pursuit just for the immunity to slow. And then I can just use any other Outers Legacy or save the build 300 Divine by not needing an Outers Legacy. But I'm sure there's an Outers Legacy I can add to this build that's going to be amazing for the setup. And then running Assault. As you can see here, I barely slow down right now when I cast the rune. It is just pure mobility. The damage is really good right now. Again, I'm only level 85. A lot of this gear is budget, so I can get a better quiver, I can get a better ring, I can get better gloves. The Mage Blood's probably sticking. I very intentionally planned to around this Mage Blood. A lot of these pieces are probably changing. I do not know if we're sticking with the Widowhail setup, the Widowhail cheese. We might try out other cheeses, but right now I'm feeling the Widowhail cheese, but that's where the build's at. I think the damage will get a lot better when I replace Elemental Armament with Garukin's Resolve. I am currently at a 51% critical hit chance with 455% bonus, and I'm pathing up here right now to get more crit damage bonus and crit hit chance stuff. So I think whenever I can afford Garukin's, Tangle Tongue Verification works with the runes FI. That is really interesting. So that has me thinking there's probably a setup on Titan. If you really wanted to do reduced duration maxing, you could do Tangle Tongue with Palm of the Dreamer. Because Palm of the Dreamer comes with that reduced duration roll on it. So I was trying to think of like what weapon I would use if I was running Palm of the Dreamer, and if that's the case, then Tangle Tongue would be an option for the Titan setup. What amulet is that? It's just an absent amulet with the Eternal Rage. This is literally 5 divines. Literally 5 divines. Yeah, I'm still only using level 19 gem. I got the level 21 coming. Tangle Tongue's like Abyss weapon. I never play spears. I don't play spears. I think I'm just going to explore the map and get levels right now. We just need to hit level 90. So let's push for level 90. Because level 90 we get +2 gem levels. Hey, how's it going, Cherry? How you doing? You have a level 90 Titan you have no idea what you deal with. I'll give it a shot. Good luck. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily commit to the exact setup I'm doing, because I'm still, like, it's only day 2. I'm still in the experimentation phase, but, yeah. It's going to be very good on a Titan. What kind of tablets do I want to test with the build right now? Let's do... I mean, let's just do, Abyss, Breach. I want to do a Radiated? Or do I want to do some Temple running? And start farming limbs. No, if I'm going to do Temple maxing, I should just do Temple maxing. Let's do an Irradiated. Alright, do Abyss, Breach, Irradiated for maps and see how that goes. Well, I leveled the entire way with the bow and quiver, so I think the bow, like, for these types of builds, Kadachi, anytime I've leveled a skill that has to be scaled with, like, one of these weird setups, for leveling, the Widowhail Quiver Cheese is by far the best way to always level with these type of things, out of everything I've ever tried in past patches. That doesn't mean there's nothing new, or I've never found, of course, but just nothing beats Widowhail Cheese for scaling an attack skill like this in the campaign, from my experience. You just get so much flat damage from a quiver combined with Widowhail. By the way, I'm getting a lot of extra dexterity from the Widowhail quiver combo, which helped me get more of the runes on the tree. If you're not using Widowhail with this build, you're using 2 times Orovasaras. And I need to test it. The problem is that to really be able to test it, I need an Aldor's Legacy for Mjolnir in it, and that's like a 300 divine thing to test. To be able to really test it, I need to be able to test it with like an Aldor's Legacy. On a budget, Widowhail is just going to be significantly better. But if anything is beating Widowhail, which I don't, like, if you're doing like this crit setup where you're going Garukins with like a crit Mageblood, I just don't see how Olor Vasara is beating the Widowhail cheese. Because look at this quiver. This is a 15 divine quiver, by the way. This is cheap. It's got cold, lightning, and physical, which I need all 3 of those. It's very, like, which I can explain later why. But it's also got critical hit chance, and then critical damage bonus for attacks, plus dex. All of this is getting amplified by 250%. It's just, like, it's by far the best way to scale these broken attack skills that do not scale off of your weapon. Anytime it's been one of these attack skills it is not based on your weapon's damage, if I'm able to use Widowhail with it, it's always been like one of the weirdest ways, or best ways to give it raw damage. But if you had a metric fuck ton of ward, and you were increasing the ward cost of conductive runes some ways, you know, like maybe the double over Vasara works with like the Mjolnir tech or something, or maybe one over Vasara with a Mjolnir. I don't know. This seems like the play to me. But I don't like. I need a much bigger budget to be able to actually test that, because this won't feel good on a budget. It won't feel good on a budget. This will only feel good if you have the ward cost super juiced and you just have a lot of flat damage everywhere else. And let's just look at what happens to my damage when I take off my quiver. Holy shit. I did lose Berserk. So let me turn off Berserk and see what that does to my damage. And Ultimum the Conflux. So yeah, but armor and boots don't change my damage for the Conflux. So it's like 50k damage. These don't impact my damage. Like, I'm not losing anything from them breaking. The rune is still usable. So the quiver alone is giving me, what's that, 50k damage? I think the quiver setup's like on the paper, and then, you know, that's with Berserk and Elemental Conflux off, which is whatever. But there's a world where Olor Vasara is better. Yeah, but that damage that I lost from the ward is going to be very minor. Is going to be very minor based off of, like, the setup I'm using. Okay, I did do the map. Do you think Reyna Blade can work in any kind of build? I think I've seen a few Reyna Blade builds. Thanks for the kind words on my build on the podcast. Which was your build? I have Build Brain Soup, so you're gonna have to remind me which one yours was. Oh, the Cast on Step Shaman? Yeah, that build was nuts. That build was nuts. Map completed, Untainted Paradise. What? What is happening? I'm not in an Untainted Paradise. What is happening? Why am I getting spammed with all these map completions? What did I do to deserve this? Yeah, that Cast on Step Shaman was freaking crazy. What is happening? Why am I just getting spammed? Ascendancy points gained, huh? Game? Well, it looks like it stopped. I was distracted by all the pop-ups, and I ran past all these abysses. Oh, you can put them over ledges. That's cool. Yeah, I remember it. Like on every character, it's like the first thing I do when I get to end game is go get that free passive point. I always remember. Oh yeah, the instant electrocutes are hilarious too. Lightless Void? Dang, the immune to slow node already looks appealing to me. Well, it is a thing you can get in your boot rune. It is an Outer's Legacy of Wanderlust, I believe. But of course that requires 300, you know, divine, and then it's only Outer's Legacy you can use, which a lot of people do that. They're, like, if you look a lot of the min-max endgame builds, a lot of people are using Legacy of Wanderlust. I imagine if GGG released the numbers on the legacies, Wanderlust would be #1 used. Doo-doo. Ritualist could be good because of the 3 rings, for sure. I was originally pondering it on Ritualist or Titan, but I already had a Ritualist this league when I revisited my, that one bow build, Doomfletch. And I'm weird and like leveling new characters for all my builds. Didn't want to level another Ritualist. Ritualist could be very good. Some of these NCs is clearly useless, but 3 rings is very nice. Boost the amulet and rings can be nice. A lot of extra damage, but depends on your budget. I don't think damage is an issue. You never played a Ritualist per reason? Oop.
The light will extinguish.
Double imitation. Nice, yeah. Volatility's awkward, that's for sure. I hope GGG features your build, but that's part of the reason why we started the thing on the podcast was it felt good when GGG featured our build, so we wanted to share that feeling. But hopefully, in my opinion, it's, you know, showcased here. But there's always, you know, there's so many good builds and creators. It's tough to always pick if they do one a week, you know. I selfishly want to be picked every week, but I don't think, you know, that makes sense or is possible. Alright, let's get some Waystone chants. Waystone chants. Alright, guys. My first Jade Isles on this build. Sure. I'm lineaged up, yep. Currently level 86. I just saw, by the way, when I cleared this to this Rockiatas, I saw that there was a, I don't want to risk dying. I saw there was a, whatever it's called, Untainted, so we can get some easy experience. That was scary. Fucking Wisp Abominable Mob. Feel like my build ideas aren't too crazy out of the box. I mean, I feel like you do a mix. I think sometimes you do off-meta shit, and then sometimes you do meta stuff. I would consider you an off-meta creator, though, but... It just depends on how you approach your builds, you know? Sometimes I'm intentionally chasing something like, with this build, I asked in the Thorns Discord if anyone had any builds they hadn't gotten a chance to visit yet that were weird or fun. And Crazy Odd Choke said, look at Conductive runes. And then it was shown that, like, there were, like, less than 100 people using the skill. And that's all it took for me to play the build. But sometimes, like, there's, like, a billion other reasons I play a build, so. Sometimes it's not even me trying to be creative. It's me being bored, and I ask, you know, what's a build someone hasn't got a chance to play recently. And another Lightless Void. What the hell? Alright, I'm gonna come back to it after I kill the boss. Because I don't want to risk. What's with all the wisp mobs? I really need the divines from this Rockiata's GGG, so if you're watching, drop like 2 or 3 of them. I gotta fix my ward. I'm not sure what I want to do differently. I might replace the Warriors with like a rare armor with more ward. Like when I'm mapping, ward's not an issue because I have Remnants of Kalgor. But my DP isn't high enough on bossing to where I have like enough ward to where they die. So maybe when I have Garukons that's resolved, but... Well, if that happens, if I do this every time, that's a different story. I have the ward if we do that every time.
Why do you reject me? All I have done in your honor. So be it. I will save my people myself. The power of the ancestors is mine.
I didn't hear a tink. I didn't hear a tink. What the hell? Oh my god. GGG, please. I don't like doing Fractured Lakes. I would almost rather do 2 maps to get to this Untainted than have to do a Fractured Lake. Yes. Oh, I forgot the Lightless Void. You're right. Oh well. Too late. No regrets. We have no regrets here.
Time to profane another temple, I suppose.
But thank you for trying to remind me, Jobber. I read it literally after I hit I hit submit on the map device and looked over at what you said, and it was just like literally the moment that it was the most too late. You did your best. I am to blame. You can scale Conductive runes damage with a quiver? Yeah. You can scale all attack skills with a quiver, just you can't use all attack skills with a quiver. So as long as it's an attack that you can use with a bow, you can scale it with a quiver. And there's no, you know, weapon requirement on conductive runes. There's been a few unique skills in the past that I've tried scaling with quivers before. But it doesn't say adds damage to projectiles. It doesn't say adds damage to, you know, bow attacks. It says attacks, you know. Doesn't say anything that limits it to a specific type of skill. Just has to be an attack skill, and yeah, conductive runes ended up being an attack skill.
I'm not ready.
YouTube chat tried to remind me of the lightless too. I'm a noob, you guys. I'm a noob streamer. What can I say? What can I say?
Back to the dirt.
Stay with you.
Should be a Lichborn in here. Nope. The new mustache gives the Viltrumite vibe. That's what I'm going for. They'll take over the world soon. Yeah, I mean, Rogue Exiles used to be like one of my favorite currency farms, but they are just like way too common this patch. It's unfortunate because like of all the side content, Rogue Exiles were like the best ones from before, but now they're like so over farmed to where like they have no value, and now it feels like all the side content has no value. Like, I don't care what anyone says about Wisp or the Korean Wisp farm. Wisps suck. Strong boxes suck. Rogue Exiles suck. All the side content needs some serious buffs. Hey, what's up, Angry Beard? How you doing, bro? Essence also, yeah, Essence are awful now. Oh my god. Essence are so bad I forgot about Essence. That's how bad Essence are now. Jesus. What they did to our boy Essence. Rest in peace. Used to be so good. Even this late into the league, you can make some divines off of Essences. But Essences were dead day 2 of the league, like this week time around. Like, holy cow. I do think Essences needed to be nerfed, certainly, but... And it is side content, right? Side content shouldn't necessarily be as powerful as, you know, the main content. It's called side content for a reason. but Sycamore Farm Dame, hell yeah. I agree, Protag. How can you socket that skill in a Mjolnir? What do you mean? I don't know if you... Oh, can you? I don't know. I haven't tried. I would assume so. I just wasted all my ward. I'm stupid. I wasted all my burst. I was just like mindlessly casting before the boss. We still did some good damage. I think when I have Garukins and I'm like fully min-maxed, like this is going to be one-shotting bosses. Saw a spell, so nope. Okay, then you can't. How's the build coming along? Great. I think it is fantastic. Whatever. When do you think are good times to make a new character build? Whenever you want. Oh, whenever the hell you want to play the build. If you want to play a build, play it. I've league started some really bad league starters, you know. I don't give a fuck about that kind of thing, so if you want to play a build, play it. I mean, like, unless it's a build that's, like, enabled by specifically, like, 30 jewels and a fucking mage blood, you know, by day 2 of the league, everything is on the market. But if you're playing something super fucking weird and expensive, then yeah, you don't want to play those, like, day 2, but I don't know. I league started Ironbound Warbringer, or not Ironbound. Yeah, I league started Ironbound Warbringer this patch, and then last patch I league started, what was it? Iron Ward Shaman. So, you know, you're asking the wrong person for that kind of advice. I do whatever the hell I want, whether it makes sense or not. So, if you're looking for reasonable advice, ask that to someone who's not as stupid as I am. 2 levels to level 90. Level 90 is big. I get the 2 gem levels, which is a decent amount more attack damage. Obviously, every gem level is just important from here, too. A lot of my optimization is going to come from just getting, like... I think the first big thing I want to buy... Like, I could eat... Like, within 100 divines, I could replace this ring... Like, 100 divine ring, 100 divine amulet, and 100 divine quiver, and, like, my DPS would probably get a lot better. But part of me wants to save up for Garukons. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not sure. Ooh. Rockiata's flow up here. Do you guys do your haunted mansions? I hate doing them. So I've started skipping them. I hate that they can... The path... Oops, am I dead? Froze it in place. Damn, Essence Mob. My greedy ass spawned 2 Essence Mobs at once. I don't know. I just hate doubling back. I know there's a good divines from the place, and I'm probably regretting skipping them. But, why can the mechanic spawn on maps you've already cleared? It's so annoying. Why doesn't it work exactly like Rockiata's flow does or whatever? I love Pathfinder. It's so fast. You think Mana Stacking Thorns, Martial Artist with Ice Tomb is playable? I mean, it depends on what you define playable as. Like, can it clear base tier 15? Sure. Is that clearing 200% deli, the juiciest, hardest hitting content? I don't fucking know. If you're doing Mana Stacking Thorns, though, you probably want to do it on a Shaman and not a Martial Artist. But I've never played Mana Stacking Thorns. Brother? Hey, Meduska, how's it going? Bill's feeling great. Bill's feeling great. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are doing, like, strength stacking gemlings. This seems pretty cool. Here, I'm gonna go for this haunted mansion. Gotcha. I haven't followed the Thorns meta at all this patch, so I have no idea what people are doing. Campaign divs are always hit different. I got one on this character off of, I don't remember which boss it was in Act 4. An Act 4 boss gave me a div on this character, though. Oh, it was Shark. The Shark gave me a divine. How many maps am I gonna have to re-clear? And it's just so stupid because you... It's so stupid. Why is it this way, you guys? Why is it this way? No, I wouldn't want to add caltrops to this build. I mean, you probably could if you had the extra spirit, but I don't want it, I don't want to add it to the build. Yeah, it should, if I recall just. What are we killing for Mansion in the Mist? Yeah, Siege Ballista got gutted, man. Siege Ballista used to be so good. Or I might be talking about a different Ballista. I can't remember. One of them used to be really good, and then it got nerfed into the ground. Yeah, because if you, like, the remnants for opening the mansion spawn on specific maps, but they spawn in a specific order. So if you cleared a map first, that was one of the ones, you have to like go back through it. It's fucking obnoxious.
Not yet.
And when you clear back through maps you've already done before, even though the mansion's reopening the map for you, it makes it to where you can't put tablets in it. Alright, here we go, guys. This was worth re-clearing for. We are about to get a big, fat lineage drop. Like the fattest lineage drop you've ever seen in your life. Almost just died. Trying to get through those fucking mobs. I gotta be patient clearing through this area or I'm gonna get myself killed. A situation where the Titan might feel slightly better. My nose itches. There we go. Ah.
Serve our master.
Yes, I shall dance with their core.
I
Alright, here we go, boys. Give me that. Give me that Rigwalds. Huh? Where's my Rigwalds? Where's my Rigwalds? Where's my Rigwalds? Never lucky. It's okay. We're certainly getting lucky right here, right? With this Rockiatus flow. We're certainly getting lucky. At some point, I do have... Where's this city? I have a city someplace that we can put a Rite of the Nameless. I don't remember which one it is. Pretty sure I have an uncleared city. Which one was it? Oh, it's this one right here. So I should clear to this soon, and we can do a Rite of the Nameless for some Divines. We'll probably clear to it. Let's just clear it now. Whatever. Oh, there's another Rockiatus down here. Look at that. Are you running a Neek Amulet? No. You need Internal Rage. It's too good. I'm dead. Never mind. You need Eternal Rage, and it's not worth the 100 Spirit that you'd have to, like, get for it in most circumstances. It's just... I don't know. To me, it feels like... with a lot of these off-meta attack builds, you're almost required to play the Eternal Rage Amulet, because getting 100 Spirit is just so hard, and Rage is just so much extra damage. Can't believe I live there. That was crazy. I didn't even, like, try to get this build tanky, and it's already kind of surviving through some dumb shit it shouldn't. And because this build doesn't require like projectile, melee, or spell skills, like normally in a turn, like if you're like playing a spell skill build or like an attack skill build or whatever, getting it at like +4 attack skills with Eternal Rage is like absurdly expensive. But because we don't really care about skill levels, I mean, +1 all skills would be nice, but you know. It just makes the amulet a lot cheaper to approach, too, so it's like, normally a Berserker Rage amulet's like, oh, I can do without it because I can just do +4 melee skills without Berserker Rage, and, you know, I save 500 Divine, but this amulet was literally 5 Divine. This was like a literally 5 Divine amulet. So, no, it's not min-maxed, you know, I'm gonna get a better one eventually, but because we don't need those all skills, or the multiple skills, makes it a little bit more of a budget slot when you're approaching it as a starter. You can definitely try some unique amulets out. There might be something cool. But, Eternal Rage is just so good.
Need more time.
Hey, what's up, last one? Are you using Berserk too? Yeah, I am. Yep. Rockiatas over here. 2 Rockiatas over here. Got a bunch of flows we can chase. Yeah, I kind of want a Temple max right now, because Temple is just such good currency, and I want limbs on this character. This is definitely my last character of the main league, so I'm okay Temple farming on them while we explore the Atlas for levels. But yeah, if you wanted to make it go off faster, if you're unhappy with this speed, I've seen people complain about it in the chat. This speed upsets you. Go play Titan. It should be close to instant on a Titan. I don't know if there's anything fancy you can do with quality stacking. I haven't investigated quality stacking yet, but quality stacking does impact the detonation time. So with all the, like, you know, I think I'm at, like, what is my quality at? I'm at 20% quality, so, like, and quality gives second to activation and arming time. And I don't know how this would get influenced by the reduced skill effect duration stuff, but maybe pushing to 40% quality, like, makes it feel a lot better in terms of it exploding. Not sure. But, obviously there are moments where I put it down. If I'm going too fast, there are, like, if I put it in front of me, I'm, like, past it by the time it explodes. So, you know. Exploding faster would be ideal, but you're really not getting it much faster than this on anything but Titan. I mean, you can't get it much faster than this on everything else, but Titan's what's going to be real. Like, if you're trying to push it towards, like, instant pops, you got to play Titan. And I don't even know if Titan would, like, solve the actual problem we're seeing here, right? Like, Titan might still slightly run into it. It's just a little bit better. I don't know if rearm works on it. I haven't tried.
Job done.
Yeah, you definitely can. It's just I don't know if that's worth doing. Because you'd be giving up a lot of damage to do that on the Titan, but Titan's also, like, overpowered, so... You know, it's usually a safe bet to say something's better on a Titan. It's just... I don't know if the Palm Tech is worth it. But yes, Titan could push it crazy. I was debating playing this on a Titan, but... Decided against it the last second.
Have you come to joy, my beloved?
You will join them. Suffer together. Join my eternal minds.
Not bad. Okay, we're at a city. Okay. Let us get a Rite of the Nameless down. How about that? Alright, I have no idea how good Rite of the Nameless is going to feel on this build. It might not feel great, especially since I don't have a good Chaos Res, but we'll give it a shot. Current build Skeletal Sniper Lich, barely into Act 4, and already outperforms my Ballista build. I mean, yeah. Ballista is really awkward. It's really awkward, so doesn't surprise me you're not having the best results with it. So, I need Divines right now, boys. Right now, if I want to swap to Garukons, which I will need to POB later, if swapping to Garukons is worth it, I assume it is. I assume there's like some rune maxing setup where I'm using that one thing that makes you do more damage for a percentage of your runic ward or something. Well, you know, there's a lot of things to test with in terms of runes. But Garukons is currently 550 divine, 544. So it's expensive. So how are we achieving this? Minosuke knows. It is Omens of Whittlings. So currently selling for almost 10 divines. And then all the other purple ones sell really well as well. So we're going to Ritual farm. If Ritual doesn't feel good, maybe we Sanctum farm, but or Breach farm. I kind of like Breach farming. I don't know if this build's the best for Breach, to be honest. Part of me wants to, like... How much damage am I losing by ditching Herald of Ice? Let me see. 145,000 to... It's probably a lot less whenever I've got Cold Conflux. Let me see when I get Cold Conflux. There we go. So we could probably ditch Herald of Ice. I don't want to ditch anything else, though. Everything else is so important. Maybe I can ditch Elemental Conflux, too. It's a lot of damage when it hits lightning. So it's really good when that happens. But part of me, just to make this build a lot safer to play, wants to add Blasphemy Temp Chains. Blasphemy Temp Chains would make this build just feel so goddamn cozy. Why bow? Maybe like something spear like shield for block? Nah. You could maybe do a spear with scepter, but you wouldn't do... This is an insane amount of damage. It's what's enabling this build right now. We have like negative damage otherwise. But yeah, part of me, like, it's either find a way to get 60 more spirit, which I don't think that's happening, or I shave Herald of Ice Elemental Conflux and add Blasphemy Temp Chains. And the problem with that is I would need a lot more ints for temp chains, which would mean I'd be giving up the 5% global damage. Yeah, Alpha Howl would help, for sure. Alpha's Howl... Alpha's Howl's not a bad idea. Alpha's Howl's not a bad idea, because doesn't Alpha's Howl come with, like, just a metric fuckload of cold res, too? Because my initial thought was, like, I would lose Runic Ward, and I don't really care about the crit hit chance, max life, or max mana. Like, those are nice, but my main thing was, like, I need a helmet with resistance, because, like, it's going to be hard for me to hit res cap with needing a Giga ring and the Giga, like, certain slots, you know. I don't want any resistance on my belt. This belt's like pure damage and move speed, so Alpha's Howl's not a bad idea, Kadachi. And I wouldn't want to do the Atziri's Communion with it. Like, I don't think this is an Atziri's Communion build. I could see this. We're either going to keep a rare helmet and try and get, like, a 30 spirit enchant so I can ditch, like, Herald of Ice. If I could, like, get a 30 spirit chant helmet somehow, that's a good, like, rare one, I could ditch Herald of Ice for it. Alpha Howl's not a bad idea, because it gives me Blasphemy Temp Chains with, like, extra juice for other support gems that cost spirit. I just don't want to... I just don't... Maybe it is an Alpha's Howl angle. That's just, that feels more glass cannon to me. But if it's enabling temp chains, that'd be like a future optimization thing, though. I wouldn't do that right now. I would need a lot of int for the temp chains to be max level. And I'm going to be swapping to an int amulet soon, so could maybe do that when that happens, but I don't know. Alpha's Howl's not a bad idea. I'm not sold, but I'm considering it heavily. Because doesn't Alpha's Howl, Alpha's Howl has like a fuckload of cold res, right? What's the rune one? What is rune mastered? Yeah, fuckload of cold res. And it can like corrupt up to a booty butt cheeks amount, right? I wouldn't really care about getting extra spirit. We don't need 122 extra spirit. Obviously, we would use it if we could, because we have the spirit, we have the slots for the extra spirit gems, but like, I wouldn't be like looking to spend an arm and the leg for an extra spirit one. I wouldn't mind getting one that had like a max cold res roll. Like, look at this one. Oh, this one's sick. This one's like, it's got a decent amount of runic ward. It's not as much as my current one, but mine's not great. Does Presence Radius impact Remnant pickup? I don't think so, right? But this would just make the Blasphemy Temp Chains just extend an extremely long distance. How far am I from the double curse node? 3 passive points or being able to do a double curse in it. So if you did have a juiced Alpha's Howl that had like 120 plus spirit on it, you could like double curse with the build too if you really wanted to make it like, if you're running around with Enfeeble Temp Chains, or I guess you could run Elemental Weakness Temp Chains, right? Is Blasphemy based off Resonance? I thought it wasn't. I have no idea. If it's not, it's not. Yeah, maybe that's... Now that I'm thinking about Blasphemy with Elemental Weakness Temp Chains, that makes the Alpha's Howl way more appealing. You'd have to get one that had like 100 plus spirit with like a spirit enchant or something to be able to fit both without dropping something, but even like I could just drop Herald of Ice. Like I don't care about Herald of Ice. Herald of Ice can fucking go. When I think about adding potentially, like if you just add 3 passive points, you get double curse, Temp Chains, Enfeeble, or Temp Chains, Enfeeble, you're unkillable. Or Temp Chains, Elemental Weakness. You don't ever have to cast a curse for Conductive runes, so you're just getting max damage out of it. Damn, I don't want to play Alpha's Howl. It's so boring. But it fits this build so perfectly. Man. Yeah. I can see me playing with Alpha's Howl. It's like... Double curse is so huge. And even a single curse is so huge. Because I could do a billion things with that extra spirit. But just the idea of running around with this build with temp chains, just repeat the Lich setup? I don't know. Was I using Alpha's Howl on the Lich? I can't remember. It's been so many builds. I can't remember. I probably was, huh? No, I wasn't? Okay, I can't remember. It's been too long. Let me see Spirit Enchant. Like, this is, like, a really good helmet I would consider buying. It's got 133 spirit on it, and a fuckload of cold res. 133 spirit would, like, give me, like, enough for, like, vitality, 1. If I ditch, like, precision, and then it would get me double curse. That would be an item. Oh, I had the flower helm. You're right. Duh. What helm was I using on the Abyssal Lich build? How about the core item to the build? Rip. Fuck. I don't want to swap to Alpha's Howl, but that sounds so good. It would just, like... This entire time I've been thinking, like, I know how to scale the damage. We get Garukons. We just scale the... We just get a better quiver, better ring, better gloves. Damage solved. Garukons, easy peasy. This entire time I've been thinking, how do we solve defenses? How do we solve defenses? There's no way in this build you're making it one-shot proof. If you get hit by a one-shot, you're going to die. But Temp Chains makes it to where, if you're not an idiot, you're less likely to get one-shot. So, I feel like just from, like, the ease of, like, I can call the build, safe defensively, because Temp Chains will enable so much. There's so many ways to get Spirit, though. Well, I'm already using 2 of the best ways to get Spirit. I've got 50 Spirit on my Amulet, and then I've got a Moriors with a 14 Spirit per socket filled with 5 sockets. So in terms of Spirit... I've got 2 of the I'm already getting spirit from 2 of the max ways. You don't use Grand Spectrum Emeralds unless you're doing a spirit stacker. This is not a spirit stacker. This just needs a good chunk of spirit. We're not using a scepter with this build. And it wouldn't be worth it to put as kappas in this. I don't think you're doing an ATD with this build. But also, spirit ATDs are super expensive. But I don't think... Like, you could maybe put an ATD into this build. You put one right here. You'd have to give up 2 hazard jewels, but... I don't know about that. Like, what's a spirit gain damage ATD right now? I'm guessing it's 1,000 divines. $750. That's not too bad, but that's for the corrupted 11%. 11 sucks. Was an uncorrupted going for? 1,000, yeah. See, 1,000 divine for a perfect spirit, yeah. I'd rather start with 150 divine or 100 divine Alpha's Howl, and then, you know. If you use a lot of spirit, that's great. Yeah, the reduced spirit reservation can be nice too. No, we can't use Ventors. We have to use a Breach Ring. Like, when you, like, if you've never played a skill that's an attack skill that reads attack damage that is not based on your weapon's damage, that means, like, if I had the highest DPS two-handed mace in the game equipped, it would be contributing 0 DPS to it. When you have one of these attack skills that scales not off of weapon, it scales purely off of flat added damage to attacks most of the time, or gem level. So, you're basically, with these kind of builds, required to use a ring that has 3 rolls of added damage to attacks on it. And a lot of times, breach rings end up being, like, the best way to get as much added damage as possible. So, I don't think you'd be able to use Ventors, unfortunately. You have to use a Giga added damage ring. That's why Ritualist is used in a lot of builds like this, because Ritualist can get 3 rings. So they duplicate a really good ring with Calandra's Touch, and then they get a 3rd ring, and then you get 25% increased effect of all your rings, which just, like, you know, that's why you see Ritualist enabling a lot of builds like this. And that's why we're doing the Quiver tech. This is the exact same mod roll. Adds physical damage to attacks, that's what Quivers do. Adds physical damage to attacks, so that's why we're using this. The bow is giving me 250% increased bonus from my quiver. And this is like a juice quiver, so this is like getting 2.5x, and, you know, all of this is the same as this ring, right? You know, adds damage, but also crit. And then gloves are the same. They can get the add damage rolls. So it's like, there is maybe setups where you're not playing the bow and quiver. I doubt it. Or, I mean, I'm not going to say you doubt it. You can definitely play it without the bow and quiver, but I'm assuming bow and quiver is best for the DPS. It would be really hard to replace the ring and gloves with unique items. It's just too much added flat damage. You need it for the build. These are probably mandatory. I would say every other slot on this build is not mandatory. You could replace Warriors, you could replace the Mage Blood, you could replace every other slot on this build. I think you probably need an Eternal Rage Amulet, but yeah, I think you could do this with Strength Stacking Sprinkler for sure, pro tag. When I was looking at it yesterday before I started leveling, and I was trying to think of, like, I look up unique weapons on PoEDB, and I just literally look through all the weapons when I do builds sometimes. I'm like, okay, what item do I want to use? And that was one of the ones I was thinking. I specifically didn't do it because even though I wouldn't be using the Sprinkler's main effect or whatever, I'd be using mainly runes. Like, there's just been too many Sprinkler builds. But I agree with you completely that Sprinkler was one of the items on my list. I was torn between Sprinkler, Mjolnir, Widow Hail Cheese, and Orvosora. Those were the ones that I thought would be... When I was looking at unique weapons specifically, which this is going to get... This kind of skill gets enabled by unique weapons the best, probably, so... Though, there's probably, like, good... Oh, and, the spear. The spear that, bifurcates critical hits might be good for this build, too. You, like, if someone's playing this on a Titan, look into using that spear with a Palm of the Dreamer. That might be an insane setup. That might be one of the few setups that, like, outscales the quiver tech, but I don't know. Every time I played weird builds like this in the fast, it's always the quiver tech that scales it. Yeah, I know a lot, there's some cool Doriani prototype Rockiata techs. I don't know if I would want to do that in this build, but, you know, maybe. How Spirit does more arrows give me? 14 times 5? That much? Alright, Riot of the Nameless time. And we're gonna do some Juice Corrupted maps too. We're gonna push this build to this limit. Even though it's only level 88, not min-max, I want to see how it's currently performing in stressful environments, and then I can learn. I'll figure out how I want to optimize it from there. I have a feeling that almost immediately I'm going to want to be running Temp Chains Blasphemy. But yeah. I could definitely see the ATD working it in if I was doing, like, if I'm playing this build for a long time and I'm min-maxing it. I keep forgetting to put a jewel here. I could easily ditch. Like, to get an ATD right here, right? I have 4 green jewels right now in this build. I could put an ATD right here, and then I can grab a From Nothing for Resonance or Hollow Palm to grab a bunch of these notables. You know, you can easily fit a Gain Damage Spirit ATD into this build. It's just the last thing I would do for this build. Like, it would be, like, I don't have the Divine... Like, I'm out of Divines right now, right? I have 0 Divines. We have to completely re-itemize this build, and the ATD is, like... would be the last thing I add to the build. But, you know, it would fit into the build. It would certainly fit into the build. Also, all the jewels I'm using right now, they're all like 10 Exalt jewels. Every jewel I have in my... Every emerald I have in my tree is just nonsense I grabbed for 10 Exalts. So they are not really helping anything. Yeah, rare body armors are very good. For sure. A rare body armor and Morioras are very interchangeable, in my opinion. Oh yeah, my Megalomaniac right now is Lightning Rod and widespread coverage for the increased area of effect, which I don't know if that's worth it. And then Pure Power's my Anoint right now. Man, I don't know if I'll want to re-itemize around Alpha's Hell or not. I really like the idea of adding Blasphemy Temp Chains, though. Like, I'm such a defensive slut, and this build is not a defensive-oriented build. And, like, just having Blasphemy Temp Chains just, like, eases my mind so much. Kind of thing is what you do now. I mean, you can, like, tag me in the Thorns Discord, and I'll hit you up whenever, if I ever decide to craft some for this build. It's just I have no budget right now, so jewels are a really low priority for me at the moment. But at some point, if I don't do the ATD, I would be crafting Giga Emeralds. I have 4 of them in the build right now, so getting good emeralds would be sick. I just, I have no idea what I want to craft. These mods are good. Not that one. I have one of them that's got decent mods. Which one is it? This one? I swear one of these had 4 good rolls. I guess not. They were all super cheap. Well, I'm crit scaling, and I have hazard and lightning damage. Okay, here are the tags. It's AoE, lightning, and hazard, right? So it'd be like the tags that are good for jewels for this build would be lightning damage, critical hit chance, crit damage bonus for attacks, hazard damage, and area of effect. It would probably be those 5, but with the Garukon swap, it really probably would just be like, I forget which one crit stuff is, prefix or suffix, but if Garukon's coming, you'd probably be trying to juice its crit bonus or something as high as it can get. I have no idea, to be honest. I don't know enough about jewels and this build quite yet, but just knowing what mods roll on jewels, there's not too many that would scale this build. It doesn't have very many tags. It's an attack, it's AoE, lightning, and hazard. So, those are the tags you can use for it. It's pretty straightforward. Got enough info? Gotcha. I will pay you for whatever you end up crafting. But yeah, I got farm the vines first. What's your evasion? My evasion, most of my defenses is mind over matter right now. I'm running mind over matter with mana remnants, 1500 life. And then I've got, 800 ward, and both my mana and my ward overflow. So, tankier than I look. But, we're not unkillable. But I am running a Flesh Crucible for Mom someplace. Mind over matter is very good for this build. We don't use any mana right now, so why not use Mom? Okay, I need to go to the bathroom real quick, and then, yeah, we're going to keep leveling this build. What level am I right now? 88, almost 89, so we should hit level 90 tonight. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. I need a... First of all, I need to get my music going again. This Diablo track doesn't like the loop. Sure. Alright. This is no temp change testing. I have a feeling it's going to be a little annoying in Ride of the Nameless, but we'll see. Oh yeah. Dead instantly. I knew this was going to be difficult for Juice Rider the Nameless. I didn't think I would die that fast. So we really got to optimize the defenses more. I could see Warrior swapping for a rare chest. I could see this swapping for Alpha's How. I feel like I gotta run Blasphemy Temp Chains, though. We just need it right now. If we're not a Titan, which Titan might not need Blasphemy Temp Chains, I think I need Blasphemy Temp Chains. I think I ditched those two for now. I gotta get a little bit more int.
Runes, yes.
The winds changed direction.
Oops. Muscle memory kicked in, clicking the bottom one for int. Yeah, no, like I don't think Pathfinder's a bad pick. I think Pathfinder is good for the build. It's just you would go Titan if you want instant swaps. But I don't think Pathfinder was like a meme or like a, you know, quality of life choice. I was getting giga value out of the travel nodes on this build. Until just now, almost all of my travel nodes were 5% increased damage. But that changed just now with me swapping a bunch to int. Why is it saying not enough spirit? Is it elemental conflicts? Oh, it's 60. Right. I'm stupid. Okay. At one point, I was thinking about trying to force Mind of the Council into the build, but I don't think it would have been a good idea. Like, maybe it would have worked, but it would have been, it would have been expensive to test, and I didn't think it would have been... Yeah, I don't know. Mana stacking is rough. And I don't have much experience with it, so I got timid and backed off. Just get ES with Elder's Battery. Yeah, I just didn't know if I'd be able to get a lot of ES with this build. I didn't know how much damage it would actually convert to. It could be good, but... He got popped, holy shit. Put slow potency on Blasphemy? Okay. Alright. Attempt 2, Rite of the Nameless. Yeah, I'm not really worried about it for bossing. I don't need temp chains for bossing. Like, if you die to bosses, that's because you just don't know the boss's mechanics, or you're being greedy, you let them hit them. Like... Defensively, I never, like, unless I'm playing a reflect build, I never design my boss builds to tank boss hits. Like, if you're face tanking boss hits, that should one-shot you, and you're upset you died, like... Whatevs, man. Oh, I'm dead. God damn. I committed suicide. Oh, Berserk killed me there. I need Vitality. That's what I wanted to add. I noticed I was almost dying to Berserk a few times. I just died to fucking Berserk there. If I had, Vitality, I would have been fine. Should add Vitality to the build. The woes of limit testing new builds leads to deaths. Can't afford Vitality 2. Why not? Oh, it's 40 Spirit. New Vitality 1. Okay. Well, another Rite of the Nameless map bricked. That's fine. Alright. Tech Rod on body armor as well. What's Tech Rod do? Can't remember. There's like 80 different Tech Rods. I don't remember which one the body armor one was. Off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure I've used it this league. At some point. Oh, the life regen one? Would pen be useful? No idea. I haven't really messed with scaling its damage. I don't really try to optimize the damage until I'm in the deep 90s, usually. I don't think I would go Rockiatas. Right now, my plan is Garukans. 3 of my support gems are taken. 1 is probably taken by Garukans. That leaves a 5th that's flex. Would it be Rockiatas? I don't think so. But I've done no path of building, no simming, etc. So pen would probably be helpful. If I ever go the double curse setup, you know, I might be running elemental weakness, so I don't know. Pen's not bad. I don't think Rockiatas like would be like one of the last things I'd test. Probably. I've already played a few Rockiatas builds, so I'm like kind of like down to do a I don't think I've done a Garukans build this league. Can't remember, actually. I don't think I've done a Garukans build this league, so. Yeah, no, too early to know. His fury! Alright. Third time's the charm. This is the one, boys. This is the one where we're gonna survive a Ride of the Nameless. You'll see. You'll all see. Mortuary? What map is this? The fuck is Mortuary? Oh, this is the free limb map. I haven't seen this since like week 1. I was confused. Oh, fuck. I got caught in a corner and I hit by a bunch of explosions. Can't believe I didn't die there. Wonder if I should add an Undying Hate. Add an Amanamu. Not getting any flash charges right now. Maybe I add an Undying Hate that has like plus int plus all at tree. I think I'm gonna die here. What is happening? Why are these mobs not giving me flash? This is like a no flash charge map. I'm dead? Holy shit, dude. These guys just don't want to die. There's these little white mobs that are just like respawning instantly. Oh, there's got to be a rare they're attached to that's got in. Okay. It took me way too long to catch on to what was happening there. What a fucking moron. I was super fucking like just flabbergasted as to what was happening with these white mobs. I was like, why are these white mobs so unkillable? Why are they respawn? Like, they were just perpetually there, and it just took me forever to register. They were respawning because they were a part of a rare that gave them infinite respawns, and that did not need to be that difficult. Jesus. If you do, you want to become bleed immune? Why? Think high EV and a little ES will carry you? I mean, we can't get high EV with this build. We need, like... You need a lot of ward. Especially if we go the rune that makes you do extra damage on your ward costs. Like, we're gonna be ward stacking, so, like... There's no hitting a high amount of EV when we're ward stacking. I don't know, I'm not super high on EV as a defensive layer either. I think it's kind of... Am I dead? Jesus. I think it's kind of bait. You have to like super invest into it, and even then, the only time I like playing EV is with Sorcery Ward, really. What's happening? I have to pull this lever? I see. Gosh, I didn't know that. These are like nasty maps, by the way. Like the maps that I'm doing in these Rite of the Namelesses while I'm like underleveled and under gear, like these are all juice, like pack size, like juice ritual maps for like juice ritual farming. Like I should not be trying to do juice ritual farms, but these are like juice tablets with juice waystones in them. Because I'm limit testing the build right now with my current defensive, so you shouldn't normally be farming this high of juice content while you're not min-max, but it gives me an idea of like what problems need to be solved with builds. It's what helped me identify that I needed to add something like temp chains temporarily and shit. Which way to push itemization, etc. Am I dead? Speed of the miss, what the hell? I can't see her in the chaos. She died though. No whittlings. I deserve it for all the deaths. Alright, let's see if we can handle the final wave of a Rite of the Nameless with this jank setup. I wonder if more skill speed would be nice. Like, what is the, I'm using, oh, I am using double skill speed, never mind. I thought at one point I was using, sulfur, but no, I am using skill speed, so never mind, I'm good there. Probably not gonna get more skill speed than this. Okay, I should be able to get a limb, right? burnt through all my ward. Yeah, part of me wants to swap to a rare chest just because a rare chest could also get a lot more ward than warriors. What do I get? Can you double click this one like the one in the temple? No, you can't stack this one. Death's Mantles, is that like a rare base? Cool. Yeah, I could see I could be swapping to a rare chest just to have more, because I don't need to have like Giga Ward recovery. In maps, I have enough ward for fighting. I just need enough ward to be able to kill a boss before I hit 0. So my damage either needs to be enough to where the boss dies in this many ward attacks, or I have a lot more ward to where I can just unload on them a little bit longer. You know, the situation can solve itself a few ways, but... Yeah, Brassstone's really nice, but I don't know if I want to use Brassstone with this build. A rare body armor lets me get Spirit. I think you can roll, like, what, 50 to 60 Spirit on rare body armors. And then rare body armors also let you get elemental resistance. So... Like, part of the reason why I'm using Warriors is because it's, like, easy access to Spirit and Elemental Res. And when I bought this one, I was thinking of using mana stacking with that mask, but decided against it. Yeah, agreed. I love Moriors. Some may call it bait because, like you said, it's like a flexible budget option, but when you churn through as many builds as I do, a good Moriors can go to like many different builds. I love me some Moriors, but when you're min-max, Moriors is usually not ideal. People do sleep on reduced crit damage from... or damage from taken from critical hits, so... I think when we finally get that death log, people are going to be shocked at how often they die to crits versus other stuff. So that's also another reason why I like Moriors, is I love that node on it. Alright, good start to the right of the Nameless. Still no death. But I also like have a weird perspective as like a Thorns player. I'm used to playing builds where you have to take damage to deal damage. So I just noticed how often I was dying to crits when playing those style of builds. Oh, level 99, nice. 89, excuse me, not 99. I'll probably never hit level 99. Where are all my whirlwinds? Where are all them whirlwinds? I don't deserve any wieldings after I died. 3 maps in a row. Might be dead here. Damn. That berserk damage. We're not quite optimized for berserk yet. What do you say it was called? Tech Rod? Isn't Tech Rod really expensive though? Probably can't afford it right now. Oh, 7 Divine. I can almost afford 7 Divine, but we're broke. We are broke. Oh yeah, those are cool jewels. Those are cool jewels, folk. I mean, you know, it's hard to be picky about either of those. They both look great. Okay, I want to do... something real quick. I'm assuming I'm missing the expensive one of these. Let's do a Colomac real quick. We'll see what my Colomac DPS looks like. I assume it's not great yet, but I just want to see.
Truth's down there somewhere. Just need some means.
Okay. I mean, this is pretty solid DPS considering I'm not, like, even close to min-max. Like, if you're upset with this abyss, like this Colomac damage, you know, this isn't even close to min-max. But this is like, I ain't upset about this. I'm like ward capped and stuff. Like, we'll see how the return fight goes. I want to hit max ward before we do it. I mean, I don't think we're adding dot to this build. That'd be spreading a little bit too thin. I mean, I'm not even using Garukons yet. I'm only level 89, you know. Don't overthink this damage yet. This damage could get a lot thicker. I'm out of ward. I'm out of flask. I think I'm gonna die. Nope, I survived.
Stay
Yeah, once we have Garukans and like fully min-max, this should be like one-shotting most... Am I trapped? Can I not get back over there for my loot? Okay, I was gonna say. Yeah, I mean, that's not the worst damage. Ooh. I mean, that's not an awful roll for a grip. Or that's not an awful set of mods for a grip. It's not great. Might sell for a few divine.
What's new? Someone is bound to buy that.
Cool. Also, what's the name? I don't know if it's got a name. It was from the hideout competition we did on my podcast this last week. I'll be making a video and a Mobalytics forum post sometime this week, probably, going over all of that bullarchy. Oh, here's a King of the Mist. I wanted to do more boss fight, but I just don't have the currency for boss fight right now. Alright.
Time to cut the head off the steed.
Oh, I can't believe that hit me. Electrocuting bosses is really nice, that's for sure.
A sliver of what my home feels like.
So far, what's your favorite builds this season? Maybe the Iron Ward Infernalist. I love Iron Ward, and it felt by far the best on that Infernalist build. Using Rat Cage to self-inflict damage with Pyromantic Pack was like... If that had been my League starter, I probably would have sat on it for like 2 to 3 weeks. Like, I fucking love that build. And like, I've always liked playing Iron Wards and like the self-damage to deal damage style. Like, it's like... really fun. But the Pyromantic Pact version of it was just really enjoyable. I haven't even been paying attention to where I need to go. I'd have to think back on every build I've done this league, but I think it's that one. Like, that one was just like an iteration of a build I've done 2 other times, and like, it just felt by far the best there. Like, I wouldn't be upset about like league starting that build. I mean, the fact that I can already do this much damage and we're not even min-maxed, I'm super happy. I don't think this build would be more my favorite than the Infernals, because the Infernals was also super tanky. I had a 100,000 effective HP. So it wasn't just like good damage, but like also elevated the playstyle, like the playstyle that I had played a few times. But it also was like super tanky. Like if the like depending on what comes with the reset league, like I'd be tempted to play it in like in many different stuff. Like I enjoyed that build so much that it could become my like, if I had to have like a main build, right? Like that's a contender for it. Like that with like Bulletstorm Witch Hunter and stuff, like the 2 of those builds, they're like super contenders for me. But that Infernalist build was just like it was tanky, it was off meta, it was just super fun. Like it had good damage, it could AFK stuff. So yeah, I would say like my last build that I just posted, that Rat Cage Infernals is potentially like my favorite build in the game right now. Of the ones that aren't dead, you know. There's like builds from the past that I might consider more fun that have died. but like due to nerfs or reworks, like Magma Barrier. But that Infernalist build was just incredibly enjoyable. And yeah, it was just like an archetype that I had been trying to like perfect over the course of like, I don't remember when Iron Ward got introduced, but it was awful. Was it 0.2 or 0.3? I think it was 0.3 got added. It was awful. I tried many times to make it work. And then in 0.4, it actually was like buffed and it was decent, and I league started it. And I meant to like make multiple variations of it in 0.4, but I never got around to it. But yeah, I don't know. I really like that archetype. And yeah, I think the Infernalist, like, it had that perfect off-meta flare where the, like, yeah, and it could have been optimized better. Like, if I hadn't played it this late into the league where I was already kind of, like, burnt out on, like, just grinding the end game for hours on end, I probably would have sat on that build for, like, 3 weeks, like. So I could see me, like, I assume in 1.0 we're getting, like, swords or, you know, flails or something new. I'm gonna get baited by new shit, but, like, that Infernalist build is, like, high on my list. Like, I could see it, like, when the game starts to settle and we're not getting, like, a billion new weapons every patch and shit, I could see that Iron Ward Infernalist being, like, my go-to build. Because it would, like, there's many aspects to it that are fun on a league start. It doesn't start as the self-damage build. It would just start as a normal Iron Ward build, and, like, it has those layers to it that just make it super dynamic, and it could have been pushed a lot further, like I said. So yeah, probably that one. I don't know. I really love that build. Like, if I would not have... Ooh, an annulment and a diamond off of fucking one king. Let's go. How expensive was it? I mean, at this late in the league, you know, everything's expensive. It was not a cheap build with how I was playing it. Alright, what do we get? Iron Reflexes? That's not worth shit. But the annulment is nice divs. We can actually probably sell that and do a boss kill real quick. Yeah, 126 chaos. Sheesh. Fragments. Origin Core. Ugh, 10 Divines. Yeah, I'll overpay. I don't give a fuck. And then... Which fragment am I missing? It's probably an expensive one. They have Weathered, Ancient. Faded is the expensive one. Okay, so we're not doing that boss.
Have an order?
I don't think I can handle a Simulacrum right now. Alright, let's go to Origin Tower. Let us see how we handle the Origin Tower boss. And we do gain a lot of damage, by the way, when we swap to the level 21 Conductive runes, so... We're, like, still severe... Like, we're still missing a buttload of damage. Will I struggle with juiced endgame content as an Ice Strike Martial Artist Cal? I've never played that build, so I have no idea. But... Martial Artist is the most played Ascendancy in the game because it's overpowered as fuck, so I would assume anything on a Martial Artist would be fine. But I have not played Martial Artist, and I have not played Ice Strike. Hey, what's up, Saber? How you doing, bro? Yeah, it's alright. I think this would perform better on a Titan. I am only on day 2 of playing the build. I'm only level 89, though. There's still a lot of experimenting and min-maxing, but I'm enjoying the hell out of Conductive Runes. Oops.
Virtue. Virtuous duplication.
Oh, I just killed myself. Yeah, we just don't have the damage for this quite yet.
And now, you.
I could probably ditch Temp Chains versus him to get a little bit more damage, to be honest. I need to solve Runic Ward. That's the main issue, is right now my Runic Ward recovery is really shit. So I just run out of Runic Ward immediately. I don't have the damage to just spam on him. So that's what we gotta solve tomorrow, is the Runic Ward problem.
The first divine must never return. Virtue. Ire of the mother.
Oh, I thought I phased him.
The enemy returns.
Oh, dodge roll into that. Rip. They do not auto-activate. I am using delayed reaction, which makes them auto-activate. Normally, they have to be stepped on, but they're really, like, shit that way, because, like, when you cast them, it is, like, an absurd range that these things can fucking spawn in. It is ridiculous. And, like, if they're activated by triggering them, like, if the boss is, like, let's say right here. Oh, I just triggered the boss. They'll never, like, he'll never trigger them. But with the, rune that activates them, the explosions are leading to me cleaving bosses down way more frequently. You just then have to scale its detonation time as low as you can get it to get them to, like, instant pop. Because without scaling it, they take forever to fucking go off. Which is why Titan would be potentially best with the build, but I'm playing Pathfinder. Oof.
And now, you. Redemption.
But we're on a budget right now, and we're, you know, limit testing, so...
Serenity. The first divine must never return. Redemption. Virtuous duplication. Serenity.
Yeah, I think tomorrow we're gonna swap off of Moriors. We're gonna get a rare chest with way more we're gonna get a rare chest with way more ward and some ward recovery.
This world must be purged.
Not yet.
Your destiny is foretold. Malediction. I will not fail them. Our enemy died. As did we. As shall you. Salvation was never offered.
Electrocute on bosses is pretty fucking hilarious, though. Not gonna lie. We're dead. This is the first time I've been able to consistently get electrocutes on bosses, which is pretty funny. Yeah, the alt quality sucks. I thought about doing it on a gemling too. Let me turn off Blasphemy. Let me get the damage back from Elemental Conflux and Herald of Ice, and then that might help.
And now, you. Redemption. Behold, of virtue and compassion. Virtue. Oblivion.
Oh, I was standing in that one ground thing. Stupid. That helped my damage a lot. I was considerably more damage. Did Mobilex mail you some merch? Yeah, it was like a month ago. We had Rax on the podcast, and Rax had one. And also, what's up, AP? We had Rax on the podcast, and he had one, and we were like, we complained on the podcast. We're like, why don't we have one? And then, like, after that podcast, Mobilytic reached out and was like, hey, do you guys want hoodies? Pretty sure it was because we bitched about it, but I'm not sure.
Must be purged. Preservation. Salvation. Deities. There are fates worse than death in your despair.
Oof. Yeah, we gotta fix a lot with this build. It's both defensives and its damage still. Like I said, I went into this super early and super undergeared just to do like a limit test. We're not quite there yet. The runes are just too inconsistent with how they spread. Like, it's just a little too inconsistent, so like it's hard to burst the boss with my current damage. Because like, look how like sometimes a rune ends up way the fuck over here, and like some of them ends up way like the range is just so wild. So without having infinite ward, like what's happening right now is I'm running out of ward from just spamming too much. So I need to, like, fix my runic ward recovery rate. We'll do that tomorrow. And then, yeah, the AoE, like, my damage just needs to be better. Like, if I eventually get Garukons into the build and stuff, that'll feel way better. But the main thing is I'm just running out of runic ward. Have you tried less area? So I thought about adding concentrated area into the build and stuff to test with that. Like, you know, we still got a lot of limit testing to do. I don't even know like how area effect scales it. Like, does area effect not even impact where the runes go? Maybe area effect only impacts the explosion and stuff. So I don't know. Here, let me get my ward topped off and we'll try again. And again, I'm doing a lot of weird scaling stuff. But yeah, just to talk about the build real quick. Yeah, Conductive Runes. It's one of those weird attack skills. I don't know if any of you if you've ever used this kind, but it's one that does not scale off your weapon's damage. Does not matter what weapon you use in terms of its attack. So if you have like the highest DPS two-handed mace in the game, it does not impact Conductive Runes at all. The way you scale its damage is through its tags: attack, AoE, lightning, duration, and hazard. So that leaves it very limited in the scale it. But there are weapons you can scale these kind of weapon or runes or builds with. One of the most common ones is Aura Vasara, which might be very good for this build. I will be testing it at some point. But one of my favorite ways to scale these kind of builds is with Widow Hail. Because doesn't matter what kind of weapon you're using with this skill. It can be used with a bow, spear, or whatever. There's a lot of options you can use. Right now I'm using Widow Hail with a quiver. That just has a dickload of critical hit chance, crit damage bonus, and then added damage rolls. This is getting amplified by 250%. This is an absurd amount of DPS. So that's how I'm choosing to scale its damage, but like, this might be the way to get best flat DPS, but there like might be cool setups with Aura Vasara or Mjolnir or something. There might be scaling with like mana stacking and Mind of the Council I need to do. But the way the skill works baseline is it just puts these runes on the ground, and you have to step on them to detonate them. But that's just really inconsistent in bossing. If this pig is the boss, and I'm spamming this, look how many of the runes aren't landing on the boss. And if it's a slow stationary boss or a slow moving boss, like half of them aren't detonating. But when you have delayed reaction in, that makes them explode when they expire. So as you can see, that now that the pig, when you see the explosion, sometimes the runes are in shit spots and they're not big enough the AoE to cleave the boss. But it's like way, way more consistent. The problem is, this is a skill that takes forever to detonate. Without those 2 additional support gems, look how long it takes to pop. So that, and this is with also having reduced skill effect duration on my passive tree here and here. So you like have to really invest into to make it get to instant detonations, which means you have 3 support gems dedicated to that. So it's a very awkward skill for sure. But we're only on day 2 of playing it. I'm only level 89, so we'll see where it gets scaled from here. But I'm having a blast with it. Trap Assassin was my first D2 build I played in late game, and it kind of feels a lot like it. Someone told me this plays similar to Brands in PoE 1, but I've never played Brands, so I don't know if that, like, checks out. But yeah, it's super fun. It's really weird and interesting. Yes, you can do overlaps into you aim into the wall. So, like, one of the best ways to shotgun bosses is, like, if they're against the wall, and you're like, look. Well, I guess there's a... I need to find a better wall to use this on. I might not have a good one in my hideout. Here, I'll go into the Arbiter area. If you can get them into a wall or area where, like, the runes aren't spreading, they're laying out into the air on this map. That's so funny. You see, like, right here, like, how they're all, like, kind of conjunctioning down, like, right here? You can shotgun them with walls. So, like, certain bosses, it's just, like, really easy to dominate them when that happens. But yeah, that's the build. The theme is Trap Assassin from Diablo 2. I would have played Titan if I wasn't such a dork when it comes to themes. But also, fuck slows, so... And I didn't want to use a legacy of Wanderlust on the build. So Titan it is. But yeah. I think we can get the damage better. I think we can get this to the point where this, like, one-shots this boss. Like, I don't even have Garokons in the build, you know. But... we'll see what happens. I'm level 89. I don't even have a level 21 gem yet, so... I don't have the best support gems yet. You can get reduced slowing plus 50 on train gear, but yeah, but with Pathfinder, you know, you get that for free. So... Frostwall, maybe? It's a good question. I'll have to see if Frostwall can catch him. I've done very little interaction testing with this build so far. I really gotta fix the ward though. Like, tomorrow I'm probably just spending the day, like, doing ward testing. Or just looking up how people get infinite ward regen.
The enemy returns.
I don't want to play Reverie. I don't know why. I do need a lot of spirit though, so Reverie wouldn't work for that. Oof. I got Sva's defensives too. Yep, we're just quite not ready for this fight yet, but I did learn a lot testing on him just now. Let me show you how it works without the delayed reaction, just so you can see what it looks like. This is what the skill looks like normally. Like, you have to, like, get them to step on them. Which for some fights can work, but the play I'm trying to hope for is, you know, with the exploding with delayed reaction or whatever it's called. It's just, like, way, way inconsistent and awkward. Because, like, there's just times he's not moving. So he just never triggers them. So that's where my hope is with delayed reaction, is these little explosions are able to just clear everything. And then once I get Garukans, I'm divine broke right now, so.
And now, you. Redemption. Serenity. Behold, of virtue and compassion.
Alright, let's go do some maps. We need levels. We need levels and divine so I can replace all of this gear. I know, that's what it feels like, is like there's like very specific ward uniques you have to use, or you gotta get like a perfect rare unique, like, which I think is why ward sees such a low play rate right now. Is just like, you're pigeonholed into playing very specific items. Wait, hold on. Temp paint chains back on. I also have not played any, like, pure ward build yet, either. I probably should try playing a pure ward build at some point, just to, like... What am I doing? I'm just, like, full blade off, dodge rolling into shit. I should probably play a full ward build at some point. Just to force myself to learn the ins and outs of the mechanic. Hey, later, Protag. Have a good one, man. Alright, remove your head from your ass. Start playing like you should. Get everything back in, right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just really don't want to play it on a Titan. Like, Titan's clearly the best way to scale it. I just, like... I love Titan. It's one of my favorite ascendancies, arguably, like... I mean, I consider it to be, like, top 3 ascendancy in the game, for sure. It's just, like, I don't know. I don't want to do this on a Titan for some reason. I hate doing builds on Titans, because, like, at this point, doing a build on a Titan, like... It has a weird asterisk on it. When you do Titan builds, it's like, oh, but you did this on a Titan, you know? It's like that kind of thing, where it's like, yeah, of course it worked on a Titan. But if you can make it work on a Pathfinder, it's like... Or anything else. It enables the build to be played on, like... It just shows the build is more versatile than that, so... I mean, Shaman has a potential for every build in the game. Like, Shaman's stupid. Bonded runes are busted. I would probably not go to play a Shaman on it, but this skill is, like, very versatile, so... I think you could technically play an anything. Like, Shaman gets a bunch of Spirit. So that's how the build is hopefully going to look in Juice Contents when all is said and done, but... We're still too early on.
forest can't.
And when you're mapping, the ward regen's not an issue at all. Because you just get so much ward from Kalgura and Remnants. It's just only on bossing that ward becomes an issue, and it's only an issue if your damage isn't good enough to kill the boss before you run out of your ward. So, like if my damage was just better, I might not even need to solve ward recovery. Because when I'm mapping, like look at my ward right now, I'm overflowed at like above 1,000 half the time. So like in mapping, it's not a problem. It is only a problem because on bosses, I have to spam the skill a lot. So if like my damage was just better to where, and more efficient to where bosses just died before I dumped my ward, then we don't even need to get more ward, you know? But, you know. That's why I try not to overthink, like, deaths and optimization this early on. I'm only level 89. I don't have a budget. You know. I'm not going to overthink things too much at the moment just because, yeah. Well, you would also need to add Palm of the Dreamer to it, Falk. With a Titan, Titan doesn't get a lot more skill effect duration, but it's like 50% increase, right? So you get an extra 8% between those two nodes, an extra 8% between those two nodes, and then you'd get an extra, what, 4% between these two nodes? So it's not like you're getting a whole lot, but then you add on Palm of the Dreamer for it, and then it'd be like the most max. But yes, Titan might not be that big of a difference maker, to be honest. And, as I discussed earlier, right now, because I'm running Blasphemy, I have to run extra int. But before I swap the Blasphemy, almost every single one of my travel nodes were 5% increased damage. So while the Titan small passive nodes would make, like, these crit nodes better for the Titan, I'm getting 5% increased damage. Like, look how many of these. And then whenever I optimize better for like more attributes on some of these gear, on some of my gear, I'll have more of these 5% increased damage. So like, the fact that this build's already performing this well right now, we're gonna be fine. We just gotta get divines right now. I'm broke, and then I think we can fix a lot of this build's problems. I was thinking, I mean, it's not being Titan. Yeah. Okay. No, the Titan would, oh yeah. No, it's probably about the same. Nice. Yeah, strength stackers are good this league. We've seen a lot of strength stackers. They are very popular. Brutus Brain is all the rage. Alright, see how fast we can blast them. Hopefully Garukons is the play. Garukons will make our damage a lot better. Maybe Rakiatas. I think Garukons is the play, though. And I'm really curious, like, I don't know. I feel like when I go and test all the different weapon types, the bow and quiver is going to be by far the best DPS. But I'm curious how Palm of the Dreamer with the spear... Which one is it? Which one's the spear that bifurcates crits? Silver Tongue? Something like that? If you use Palm with that, that might be a nasty setup. Or any scepter. You know, it wouldn't have to be Palm, per se. Wouldn't have to be palm per se. Yeah, I think I saw Troy Chesko. I think it was Troy. He was doing a Blade Fall Molten Shower build that was like auto looping them. It was really cool. Have you considered a bonded ward recovery rune for 25 flat ward regen?
Have an order?
I haven't played ward yet, so I haven't really... Recovery. What ward are you talking about? Flat recovery? I'll see what you're talking about. Being punked. It's the basic regen rune? What, rebirth runes? Or just this one? You meant this one. A charging rune. I mean, I could try to see what they feel like. I don't know what they'll feel like.
Let's see if there are any takers.
Oops.
Goodbye.
I mean, that definitely helps a lot. I mean, that definitely helped a lot. Maybe that's all it needs to solve ward recovery. It's just like slot in 4 of those. That doesn't sound bad. That doesn't feel bad. At some point, I might be using the reason why I was ward stacking, because at one point I was thinking of using the support gem that makes you do more damage based off of how much ward you spend or something. But I'm currently not using that, so... For how I'm currently playing,
Post it right away.
you know, the maximum ward only just makes me tankier. I want to just see what, like, Giga recovery rate maxing does. Regen is based off max ward, so you need like a combo of the two. Runic ward is the last line of protection. Runic ward concentrate at a default rate of 5% per second. Interesting, you're right. You need a combination of the two. Huh. So that just makes me feel like we're 100% ditching warriors. We are 100% ditching warriors. We'll be using a rare chest. Because rare chests can get, like, a fuckload of ward. Apparently not that much. You can get over 1,000 runic ward on a body armor. No, I need I have to use either Moriors or a rare body. Like, Blast Dome was awesome. I love me using Blast Dome, but right now I do need a good amount of Spirit to scale this build's damage. Or I need Spirit as well for defensives and for Blasphemy Temp Chains. Like, Blast Dome is unfortunately not an option currently, just because either Moriors or a rare body armor also gives us Spirit. And we just need the Spirit at the moment. It's possible when we're like Giga min-max, our damage is good enough to drop the Spirit, but for now... Because right now this body armor is only giving me 100 Runic Ward, so if I swap to a rare with like 900 to 1,000 Runic Ward with some Spirit and stuff, you know, that'd be a lot more Runic Ward, and the recovery rate would be, I mean, the ward is not that big of an issue to solve to where, like, you need to go Shaman to solve the Runic Ward. I'm level 89 and I've done nothing to solve ward, and ward doesn't need to be solved, potentially, if my damage is way better. So, like, I don't really, like, unless you're playing, like, on a super hyper budget, I don't think Shaman would be the play. Like... Because if your damage is good enough, you don't even need Giga Record Recovery. Like, I just don't think... I don't think Ward's going to be an issue once my gear's better. I've just done nothing to solve Ward. I don't think I'll need, like, an entire Ascendancy giving me bonded runes to solve it. I'm not saying Shaman wouldn't be bad for the build, but I don't think that's required to solve the Runic Ward issue. Because it's like, kind of like, it's barely a problem right now. It's only a problem on, like, Arbiter of Divinity, who's got, like, 10 million life, and I'm, you know, not ready to DPS him. Should have clipped on the rarity one, I'm stupid. I was just clicking off my shrine, so I wanted to get an accurate fight read. I just love instant electrocuting bosses, it's super fun. Oh, for sure. But, you know, bonded... I've said for a long time, Shaman's fucking busted. I can't believe it didn't get nerfed in the patch. I think they're just going to try and make the Shaman bonded runes kind of like a baseline for balance or something, but Shaman is like... Bonded runes and 120 free spirit or 80 free spirit on their own, like, the rest of the Ascendancy doesn't matter. The rest of the Ascendancy doesn't matter. But the rest of the Ascendancy is also good. So, like, just Shaman just fucking crack for whatever it does. No, that's why I'm using the amulet. No, it's a good idea, Nilon, and it's like, it's good to note those things, because, like, this is not a build that needs to be played on Pathfinder. So, like, if someone wants to play on a Shaman, you know, it's definitely important to note that thing, but... I mean, adaptation is just fucking... It looks like there's another Rockiatus flow this way, too. This is, like, Flow City. Hey, I appreciate you, Mike. I hope you're doing well, dude. Sorry, I'm really bad at reading YouTube chat, you guys. I'm not a good streamer. I'm just a dork playing a video game. Oh, right, I need to remember to try that ice wall tech Saber alluded to. Because if that ice wall tech works, that would be huge. I don't think it would, but I need to check. Yeah, only for the delayed reaction setup. Yep. Only for the delayed reaction setup. If you're not playing delayed reaction, there's no point. There's no, like, it doesn't matter. What was I about to test? Oh, I was gonna test... Ice wall. Frost wall. I didn't mean to go into this map. I accidentally clicked the portal. And now I have a long load screen. Okay, let's take off elemental. This is like a bad spot to test it. Doesn't look like it's doing anything. I don't think it's like funneling them through it or anything. It's just, yeah, it's still the same rough spread. Unfortunate. Would have been nice. Imagine if like you could just put this wall up and you just like sandwich all the runes right there. That would have been fucking sick. Would have been a god tier tech from Saber. You can see how, like, the wall right here is catching them. So, like, if there was a way to get walls up and you could just spam this like crazy, that's DPS would be so nice. I bet you can share stuff with me, Kadachi. I don't mind you sharing stuff with me. Like, at this point, it's like, stuff being shared's fine where I'm at with the build, but my issue with people is when they share stuff and then they get annoyed or mad when I don't listen to them. Which I know you don't do, but at this point in the build, like, spoilers are fine as long as you're not telling me this is the only way it can be done. And then that's just annoying. But yeah, I'm past the point where we're like, I've done enough of the initial leveling and interaction testing where it's like, you know, if you went ahead and you tested Ulra Vasara with a Mjolnir Legacy of Aldor in it, or Legacy of Mjolnir in it, and you wanted to tell me it wasn't worth it, like, that's not a, that's like, you know, those kind of spoilers are fine. You telling me stuff that I've already, like, you know, thought about, and you've confirmed, like, you know, you tested it, like, the numbers on it, it doesn't feel good, or it does feel good. I don't consider stuff like that spoilers. Yeah, at this point, I'm past the point where I can be spoiled on the build. Because I already know what I want to do. So if you did different stuff, or, you know, tested stuff, you know, I'm past spoiler moment. Spoilers is usually only, like, the first day or two of the build, when you're first, like, literally before yesterday, I didn't even know this skill existed. So, you know, the first day of interaction testing, that's where it can get spoiled, because that's where all the fun happens, you know? The last day was super fun figuring out how this skill would work, testing out all the different support gems and stuff. So yeah, I'm past the point of spoilers. So you can share whatever you end up testing. Especially if it's going to save me divines, because I am broke as fuck right now. This is a cool skill, though. I liked the delayed reaction made it super fun. Well, I've already got a fuckload of crit scaling. I've got a good amount of crit passives. We're about to have more, and I get more levels. I'm only level 89. And then I've got a crit Mage Blood. So we're, like, good on crit. We gotta just get the biggest thing for crit is we need Garukans. And if Garacon doesn't work out, maybe we play Rockiatas instead. But the main thing for me is this ring is super budget. This amulet is super budget. This gloves is super budget. And this quiver is super budget. And all 4 of these items are where we're getting all of our damage from. Like, all of our damage is coming from... Because it doesn't scale off your weapon. It's coming off of added physical damage. So the quiver is giving us, like, a gross amount of damage, right? Imagine if I had, like... This is a 15 divine quiver. Imagine if I had a 300 divine quiver or a 1,000 divine quiver, right? What that would do to the DPS of the build, right? This is a 5 divine ring. This is a fucking 5 divine gloves. Like, all these were cheap, and the amulet can get a lot better too. So, like, these 4 pieces, in terms of, like, divine investment, would increase my DPS way more than any other investment, but I do want to just get Garocons to test. You know, I might just POB Garocons and see how that feels in the setup, but Garocons. I haven't played Garocons this patch, and Garukin. But then I also want to solve the fences, I want to solve the ward stuff. The only thing that's not changing is the Mage Blood. I'm 100% committed to this Mage Blood. I like this setup. The double silver is nice for the skill speed. It just gets the instant traps. Diamond for the crit, and then Quicksilver. Like, there is probably a better optimized one, but this one's, like, good enough to where, like, I'm gonna use it for the rest of the build, probably. But if I played this for, like, 2 weeks, I'd probably get a better one. That might be, like, it might be, like, triple Diamond Quicksilver or something in a super optimized setup, but, yeah. Basically, everything is getting replaced but the Widow Hail. Oh, right, this is why I was Runic Ward stacking. I was like, there was something I was doing with Runic Ward stacking that was making me do more damage. And this was attack spend 5% of your maximum Runic Ward if possible to gain that much added physical damage. That's why I was Runic Ward stacking. I knew there was, like, I kept saying there was a reason why I was Runic Ward stacking, and I forgot one of the reasons why. It was a support gem plus this, to, like, make your Runic Ward do a lot more damage. But which might not be needed. But if I had, like, you know, I'm only at 600 Runic Ward, you know, we could get a lot more to make this do more damage. I really am curious about Ulra Vasara, though. But right now, my setup can't do it because I'm getting a bunch of stats from my quiver. If you test Ulra Vasara, Kadachi, let me know, because I'm really curious about this. The Rune Mastered Ulra Vasara, skills gain 6% of damage as extra lightning damage per 50 Runic Ward cost. And at my current cost, it costs 76 Runic Ward, but I think if you got it with... If you're using a level 21 gem with Legacy of Mjolnir, its cost is over 100 per cast. So by doing 2 of these, you'd be getting, you know, 24% gain damage per cast. On top of, like, you know, the Ulra Vasara effect. I just don't see it being better than the Quiver tech, but I am very curious about it. I am very curious about if there's a way to get Ulra Vasara with the Runic Ward cost scaling to make it hit super hard. I really wanted to try dual wielding it, but I think I'm locked in on the Quiver tech for now. If I had a bigger budget, I would experiment more with this kind of stuff, but right now I think I'm going to tunnel vision on the Quiver tech. And then if we experiment with Ulra Vasara, we do it a different league, or, you know, if I get a Giga drop. Like, maybe once I get some levels, I spend time farming Sanctum, and I fish for ATDs and Last Flame. Because if I want a big jackpot, maybe, like, this is a fast build. Going to be good for Sanctum. I don't know if it's going to be good for Desperate Alliance farming, but I think it should be fine. What is a Last Flame going for currently? 3,700 Divine. Not bad. Not bad. And then what are just a flat Spirit ATD going for? No gain damage roll. So just a basic... Oh, not Corrupted, though. Not Corrupted. 100 Divine? 90 Divine? Yeah. I could see me getting into Sanctum farming on this build. This might be a really good Sanctum farmer. It's very fast. Maybe that's how I farm the Divines I need for this build. Maybe we go Sanctum farming. I'm with you on the Quiver. This definitely is miles better than the Mjolnir Scepter I was trying. Good to know. I hadn't tried Mjolnir yet. But yeah, I mean, I forget what skills I've tried scaling like this before. It's just like other skills, like on the uniques and stuff, that are attacks that don't scale off your weapon. I forget which interactions I've done this Widow Hail tech before on, and it's just so much added damage. I mean, and when you take into account that I'm playing a Pathfinder, 21 dex being multiplied by 250% is a lot of attribute nodes that I get to translate from dex to increased damage. So, especially on the Pathfinder, the Quiver tech feels just too good. But if you're going crit for sure, this is 3 crit rolls being amplified by 250%. The implicit, the critical attacks roll on it, and then the critical damage bonus roll on it, all being giga. Like, this is just... It's so much flat damage, man. I don't know. You're right. It's going to be hard. Like, I don't think anything's beating this in terms of raw damage, and I don't think, like... Because my damage isn't even good enough right now, right? I just don't see any other setup working. You're right. You're right. This is the play for sure. Widow Hail Quiver is the play for sure. I don't need to waste Divines testing other techs. This is the play for sure. Better ring, better amulet. For the amulet, what I would do differently is right now I don't need this 10 elemental res. I can take this amulet off and I'm still res cap. So we're getting the rid of the 10 elemental res, unless these items change to where I lose that all elemental res. And at one point I was thinking I was going to do mana stacking with Mind of the Council. So I got maximum mana on it. I am no longer doing that. This was a 5 Divine Amulet, by the way. So I mean, the maximum mana is still a defensive layer because I'm playing Mind over Matter. But the max mana could also change. But at minimum, I want to replace the all elements with Intellect. I want to get a large amount of Intellect so I can run Blasphemy. And then I can translate all of these nodes into increased damage. So... The amulet is cheap. It's going to be replaced. Definitely still internal range, though. But, and definitely still 50 spirit with some form of crit thing on it. But the all elements and the max mana I don't necessarily need. So that's what that would get changed for. If there's a cheap one, I would get a cheap one. But this is low priority right now. Because this one is fine enough. These gloves are ass. These gloves are fucking terrible. The damage rolls are mid. They're not bad, but it's got 40 ES and 62 ward. I assume there's just a way better glove I can get than this. The Fire Res, Chaos Res is okay, but the damage rolls are mid. We got Tier 2, Tier 2, Tier 4. And then it's just got no defenses on it. You're not going to get a lot of defenses on the gloves whenever you're going for triple added damage with resistance rolls on them or something, but... you know, it could be better than this. By the way, for those who are going to be playing this build, I am prioritizing added damage for physical and added damage for lightning because it converts physical to lightning damage. So that's like just their main damage type. But I am also doing added cold. And I'm prioritizing added cold in all the other third slots. Because we're using Herald of Ice. We are getting some Herald of Ice procs sometimes with the amount of added cold we're getting. And then Coming Calamity increases our damage. It's not a whole lot, but for your third one, you're going to want to stack it ideally. You don't want to do a mix of like some are fire, some are cold. If you're going to stack one, stack cold because you will get a benefit out of Herald of Ice with Coming Calamity. So I am doing physical, cold, and lightning on all of my damage rolls. And then for the ring, glove, and the quiver, all 3 are physical, cold, lightning. I don't know how much better of a quiver I can get. We'll have to see. What are the damage rolls? This is tier 1, tier 1, tier 2. This is a decent quiver with a tier 1 implicit. I want this quiver exactly. I don't think I want anything different about it. I just want all of the rolls better. I don't know if this one's worth div slamming. I'll have to look at the market. I actually don't really know much about quivers in general and crafting them. But, like, in terms of this mods, like, I want the dex on it because the dex helps me get rid of small passive nodes on the tree. So, like, I don't know what the other mod the dex could replace with. Maybe there is, like, also another crit damage bonus I could get with it or something. I'm not sure, but if this was the exact mods I had on my final quiver, I would be like, that's perfect. Like, I think. I need to actually go look at the quiver mods that they can roll, but, like, this is fucking awesome. I just want, like, you know, this is actually good rolls, you know, tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, but these rolls on here aren't great. So, like, maybe I end up div slamming this at some point to try and get it, like, all perfect rolls. I'm not sure, but this might actually be hard to replace, and it's actually kind of got lucky. This is only a 15 divine quiver I got, now that I'm thinking about it. So quiver might not be replaced soon. Rings and gloves are definitely getting replaced soon. What is my ring? Tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? We'll have to see how I replace the breach ring. I feel like I want to replace the body armor next, but I'm not sure. It's tough. Like, the problem I have with, like, wanting to replace my gear is I'm going to have to do, like, a full overhaul, like, of multiple pieces at the same time, and then replacing multiple pieces should be replacing, like, all pieces. So, like, part of me just wants to, like, save up for Garukans and do Garukans first, but I feel like I need to try and replace this body armor. I think Morior's is, like, the first step. Replace Morior's. I don't know what's better for Widowhail. I went with 4 socket at 250% bonus. I think this is a perfect Widowhail. I don't think you can get higher than 250% with 4 sockets. I could be lying out of my ass. Let me check. I could be completely lying out of my ass. Okay, so 250 at 4 sockets. So I have a perfect Widowhail. One thing to keep in mind if you're going to be playing this build, you do not need the Rune Mastered one. Your actual attack damage, I believe it'll help with the Heralds, but for your actual main skill, the DPS of the Widowhail means fuck all. So you do not need to get a Rune Master Widowhail. You can get a base baby Widowhail. I need to test what's better, a 4 socket at 250%, or a 3 socket at, you know, whatever it is, 289, 300%. I don't know what the highest, like, you can get, there's 2 sockets with 305%. I do not know which Widowhail setup is mathematically better. I just happen to have a perfect Widowhail. That was, like, not a perfect Widow, a 4 socket that was 250%. I don't know if this is the one that's perfect for this build, but I have not done any checking on what's better for Widowhails. 2 sockets at 305%, a 3 socket at 280%. What was that? Well, that was 4 sockets at 250, and then 3 sockets at 289. I do not know which variation of this is going to be mathematically better. So if you're going to be buying a Giga Widowhail, you might want to do some POBing and digging around. Again, the flat damage on the Widowhail doesn't matter. You only care about the bonus and the socketable. So it's possible that a 2 socket with a Giga Quiver at 300% is better. But it's also possible that the 4 sockets, when you have, like, the Gain Chaos one, the Gain, like, you know, with all the different modifiers you can get, and then, like, the ward stacking, maybe the 4 socket's better. I don't know yet. I have no idea. It's possible that this is the best Widow Hail for it. 305%. This is 55% more quiver bonus for all of this. Maybe that's what the build needs more than, 30% increased elemental damage with attack. Like, these aren't perfect runes in these yet, but, this is what I was just leveling with. But, I have no idea how to optimize the damage still yet. But it feels really good. Will you be scaling any of the defenses, ES, armor, or EV, I think? No. It will be using Runic Ward, Mana, and Maximum Life as our defensive layer. We will be doing no EV, no armor, or at least with my setup. I think Kadachi says he wants to play a high EV variation. I'm playing Cooked, so we have 25% reduced of it anyways. It's not the end of the world. I don't think I will... If I'm doing anything... It would be Energy Shield. Like, if I had a high roll of anything in all the slots, it would be ES, in my opinion. But if I was again, I have to figure out min-maxing stuff. If I was to guess right now, it would be Runic Ward and mana maxing as much as I can. With whatever life and mana as a defensive layer with Roar as its buffer. But maybe it'll be ES. I don't think I'll do EV or armor. I don't like doing EV or armor unless I'm giga committing to it, and I don't want to do like a Mage Blood with EV or armor on it. You could replace both of the silvers on this with like Jades for EV, and maybe that would work out, but I don't want to play EV or armor on this build. It might be better for this build defensively. It might be. Gotta say, you've got a magnificent mustache. Thanks, O42. I am trying to become a Viltrumite. If I were to say what defensive layer I would do, it would be... For my version of this build, it would be ES, I guess. Because then maybe at some point I could add Eldritch Battery to it and get more for Mom, but... yeah, I don't know. Can you do a little showcase of the build? I am about to end the stream. Sorry. This was me, like, doing the showcase of, like, or at least, like, the breakdown of all the details after doing a showcase. So, if you want to, like, rewind the VOD Phaeton, like, 30 minutes, you get, like, a showcase of, like, the mapping and, like, and then I go into the breakdown. But, yeah. I was just, like, explaining my thoughts on everything before I ended. I think, ultimately, this is not going to be, like, in a tanky build. You're not going to see this pushing, like, 50k effective HP or anything. This will be... a glass cannon speedster build. But we need to get it tankier than this, that's for sure. If I were to say what it would be, I would get more ES and Runic Ward. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think it would be a high ES body armor, if I had to guess. I don't think so crazy. I think we're on the right path for scaling. It's just flat added damage and then crit. I don't think global would help really all that much. Not more than, like, you know, more crit stuff. Especially when we swap Garukons. Can you just build on Oracle? I think you can do this build on a lot of Ascendancies. I think you can do this on pretty much any Ascendancy. May Poison? I don't think you'd do Poison with this build. Maybe, but like you'd be forcing poison. You'd be like forcing poison. Like you could try for sure. You could use Tangle Tongue because like that, like with like a scepter, but like I don't think poison's the play for this build. I think you're gonna be like sitting here and just like when I'm fully min-max. This will just one-shot, like, most stuff with its crits. We just gotta get, like, better optimized, more levels, and... yeah, like, we only have the level 21 gem in yet, and we don't have Garukons. I think once we have both of those in, we'll take a look at our damage, and then we'll be like, okay, do we need to go ailments? Do we need to go more crit? Do we need to figure out Rakiatas? Like, from there, we'll figure it out, but, yeah. I'm not sure yet. Alright, I'm going to end the stream there, guys. I haven't eaten dinner yet. I am pretty damn hungry right now. I might stream tomorrow. We'll see. Tomorrow is my birthday. I turn 36 years old. And I don't know if I will be in a mood to stream, or if I want to, or, maybe I will be in a mood to stream. We'll see. Or if I'll be too busy for it. I don't know. But, yeah, tomorrow we'll see if I end up streaming or not. Tomorrow might just be like a day where I'm like just being super lazy and stuff. Thanks, guys. Birthday stream? We'll see. Well, it just depends on my mood. Depends on what's happening tomorrow. I could see me doing like a big birthday stream tomorrow if I'm super bored. But maybe you're not. But thanks, you guys. Hey, thanks for all the happy birthdays, you guys. But yeah, we'll see if I'm live tomorrow. If I'm not live tomorrow, like, there's a lot I want to do with this build. When's the Timmy League? Is it this Friday or is it next Friday? Is it 2 weeks from now? It's the 31st, right? It's the end of July. So, if it's the end of July, I'm probably playing this build for the next 2 weeks. But if it's this Friday, then, this build ends in 5 days. But we're playing this build until the Timmy League, either way. But, yep. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out. This build's super fun. We'll see how far we can push it. If you're not in the Thorns Discord, type !Discord. It is the Thorns Discord, but it's basically an off-meta Discord at this point. A lot of build makers are in there. They just talk about many different types of builds. It's really not even the Thorns Discord anymore. But, yep. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and, if I don't see you guys tomorrow, this Thursday on the podcast, we have Snoobay on as a guest. We have a Snoobay on as a guest. So, if I don't see you guys tomorrow or the rest of this week, I'll see you guys on the podcast, so... Have a good night, everybody.